Honorable SSEMUJJU NGANDA came out to reveal some information that the FDC in the last election used for 3.5 to 4 billion in their presidential campaign. And as that money may look so much, in fact in their presidential campaign, it is just a salt, a pinch of salt in a sea. Do you know that only nominating candidates across the entire MP seats you may require more than $1 billion? Nominating only candidates. That's the reason I keep on telling people that if NRM was known to leaning on government, it wouldn't have done that, because NRM has its hand in the national coffers. That's why it has been able to do that. So the reason I'm speaking about this is because the NUP embarked on the fundraising. I think it's the only political party that has made its fundraising public. Honorable SSEMUJJU NGANDA came out and said these statements. Here's the
In 2016, people donated items. On nomination day, people gave Dr. SJ a sofa from Chireka. When he came back for campaign, people gave him goats. But real financing of campaign requires a lot more money. A lot more money at a parliamentary level, at a presidential level. To finance a fairly good presidential campaign, you will need in the FDC, I think the highest amount we've ever spent was about 3 or even less. But there are areas where I went with SJ in Uganda and I didn't find our posters. Posters were being displayed in some towns. One time we drove from Riantonde through rural areas to Rakai to Chotere. I didn't see any posters there. So I realized that we required much more money than what we were able. So the contribution by the population is only in a form of symbolism.
That is Honorable SSEMUJJU NGANDA. So in this episode, I've come to talk about the funding of the presidential campaign, what it means for our politics, and most importantly, the sedimentaries we can learn from the politics of our nation. But before I do this, I want to let you know that if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. And if you're watching this video from a different platform, please head on to YouTube, type in Sula Mawagali. There's a lot of content of this nature. If geopolitics and economics is what you want, this will be definitely the right channel for you to subscribe to. First of all, funding in the presidential candidate, even in America where democracy is, in the last election, Donald Trump was able to raise, I think, $800 million. Biden was able to raise $900 million. That's so much. That's the truth. And a presidential campaign. Because if you want to do a credible presidential campaign, at least for a presidential, at least in each and every district, a presidential candidate may have not less than 200 banners, big ones. Since I'm running as an NP for Mark in the East, I have a banner that's being put up. It's paid one, I think, depending on the size of a banner, but the cheapest is paid 1.5 million per month. And to organize, if you are a presidential candidate, must have 200 banners in each and every district. For each and every district, you may require not less than 200 million per month. Only banners, not posters. So a presidential campaign is so expensive that we must fundraise for our candidates. Supporters should learn to mobilize funds for their presidential candidates if indeed they believe in them. It is the truth. When you look at other political campaigns, other countries, they fund. The only problem here in Uganda that we are under dictatorship, that even those who would give their candidates, the government would come on their door and take them down. Because we all know General Museveni is so petty. He can charge you with terrorism just by giving Bobby Wine some support. In other jurisdictions, by the way, even companies, known companies, fundraise for presidential candidate. It is totally normal. And to show that they are even politically mature, even if the contrary party that was not funded before goes into power, it cannot come and start humiliating and taking other people's business who did not fund for them. That is how democracy is. The only problem in Kenya that the regime is petty. It can go for those people who have fundraised for other political parties. So I beg that every person fundraises for his candidate. It is the only way to go so that we can liberate our country. So that's why I give Bobby Wine respect. Before he even gotten any money or iPod or the political party funds, he was able to put on a campaign by himself. You came out to say that they spent almost 3 billion. Okay, so you clearly see that Bobby Wine already had a platform to do that. That's the reason that's why for anyone to run as a presidential campaign, to go for the presidency, he must either be rich or be able to galvanize for resources if you don't have money. And the rightful candidate is Bobby Wine. Of course, that's my opinion. Do drop in your comments by commenting about this. Thank you very much for listening in. If this is your first time on this YouTube channel, I implore you to subscribe, like, and comment so you can be motivated to do more such videos. I'll see you on another one. Peace.
Yes, Kabuye Sulaiman Mawagali. I am putting in my request to fly the NUP flag high in Makinde East constituency, so that I can represent the great people of Makinde East. Nkomyewo omulundi ogwokubiri n'obwongo nga bwesera nga busera. Ebiwandiiko byange mbirese bibino.
Sigadde nze Mr. Makindi Kabuye Sulaiman Mawagali kantu ene guno omukisa okubategeeza mbu ngenda kwesimba okuwa MP Makindi East 2026 nesimbawo lubi era nkomawo bataata bamaama basenga bajjajja okubasaba akalulu. Makindi East ediridde nnyo emabega okumala emyaka 2 okuva omugenzi Sebana we yagenda. Yensonga lwaki buli mukulembeze ajja tumuwayo ekisanja kimu kubanga tukola ensobi. Akulembeza Makindi East okumala emyaka 15 buli ranking abakulembeze abakozi mu parliament abatakyasinze kwogera babeeramu 2 abasemba. Ebyo bintu birina okwogerwa. Twetaaga omukulembeze ng'alina obwongo nga bwesera nga busera. Twetaaga omukulembeze nga fighter, si bano bajooka. Bw'oba ng'ogenda saabalira ku mazzi ne baleeta eryato ly'ebbumba ne baleeta ne speed boat, tosobola kukwata lyato lya bbumba ogenda osaabale kubanga lijja kunywa amazzi obbire bassebo ne bannyabo. Oba olina kulondawo speed boat efubutuka kaweewo ekusomese mangu. Nze Kabuye Sulaiman Mawagali, nze speed boat. Bannaye munonde muninnye nsooke mbasaabaze ku speed ey'ekizungirizi. Eddoboozi lyaffe libadde teriwulirwa. Kyekiseera mu 2026 mulonde nze kamwa kwogera Kabuye Sulaiman Mawagali ayina eddoboozi eryamwanguka ajoyimirira ku parliament alyanje ensonga mu beesimbyewo bonna bassebo ne bannyabo teri ansinga kwandya nsonga. Abaneesimbyeko bonna baneegomba olw'engeri gye njogeramu, olw'engeri gye nnambika ensonga. Gw'oba okiwakana eno YouTube yange sooka ogiraba ogifollowing ogisharing olayo ne video eziriko engeri gye nnambika ensonga. Kuba mwaka faananyi nga ndi ku floor ya parliament nga ngamba Mr. Speaker sa wa Madam Speaker sa waliwo asobola okugaana okuwulira. So mu 2026 tetukola era ne mulonda omulala atali Kabuye Sulaiman Mawagali. Musibe bulungi, mweraba. Peace.
Mpala na wala kusaba kimuze mpala na bulungi wadi avampala no bulungi nange benjagala obulungi.